Hey y'all, it's time for another magical Monday behind the curtains. And before I say much, I have to say it is the first day of spring. Spring is my favorite season. Winter is my least. And so every time this day comes, I feel like it's kind of like my Christmas morning. Like I joke that on January 2nd, when all the fun wintry stuff ends, I start counting down to spring, which we could get all psychological about that instead of me embracing wintering if we want to. But, I do my work. I look at it. I still don't love winter. I love spring. I love when things are coming to life. I love when there's a brightness and a movement. It resonates with me. So my reflection and my behind the curtainness today has to do with this transition and what it's really like, because even I have a part that's very like I like to fantasize spring and make it this perfected thing, because I wait so long for it. Again, it's my Christmas morning. But when spring first hits, it doesn't necessarily feel like that fantasy. And that's the part that I want to speak to today, because we often, let's see, let me put words to the feeling story of my life. If you're feeling this sort of rumble of purpose and passion and energy that wants to go somewhere, that's the spring coming up within you. But what happens at the beginning of spring, and I've been feeling this for the past weekish, 5 days to a week, something like that, is there's this movement, but sometimes before that movement can be something awesome, it has to push some stuff out of the way. It has to recalibrate. Just that movement alone starts shifting and changing things. And I did a newsletter this past week about sort of the energetic process behind my program launches, my big life decisions, moving towards visions, all that. And this energy really connects to that. It's like I keep getting the vision of a garden hose that's been sitting out in the yard since last summer, and perhaps the rainstorms have gotten mud in the end of the hose. Let's assume there's not a sprayer on it. It's like old school, like there's stuff in the end of the hose, and spring energy starts flowing and it's got to get the stuff out. Now this may look like ideas about what you were supposed to be doing in your business. It could be beliefs. It could be parts of your identity that no longer fit or serve. So it's sort of like this is a deep reset time, I think, where energy's moving, but in order to move for the highest good, we've got to clear out like this last little gunk of the reflective still season of wintering, so that there's free-flowing movement. And I think we as humans get really tangled in that and get really attached to, I know I get attached to what's spring, so let's go, let's do the thing. And it's almost inevitable that when spring happens and I start doing the thing, that I end up being asked to recalibrate. I'm sitting right now with, coming off of sabbatical. I was like, oh, I'm just going to come back and I'll know exactly what to do and it'll be locked and great and easy. And to some extent, that's true, right? Like I still love my work. I love my groups. I love integrating human design. I love my couples work, all that kind of stuff. But I'm being asked to sort of refine and refine and refine. And then I'm now looking at what needs to be let go. And well, I thought I was going to do this kind of program, but actually I think I'm going to do this. And what's it going to take to recalibrate? Because as that energy moves, it wants and needs different things. And that means we are being asked to be flexible. Think about the flowers that come up in spring, where they come up and like the first ones of spring. So they might get wintered on again. They might get rained on a bunch. And they have to be like soft and flexible to survive. That is their strength. And so I think we're being asked at the beginning of this spring season to be soft and flexible around what matters most. And that's internally and externally. You know, with me pivoting some aspects of my business, I'm watching myself grip and go, "Ooh, but I don't let that go." And then I'm like, well, what would the softer, more flexible response be so that things can keep moving? And letting go of expectations I had or expectations I thought maybe others had of me. That's another part of deconditioning. So this is what I want to share today, is just this movement into spring and movement into our sprouting, our growth, our expansion, with this like softness and this flexibility and this grace to allow what wants to happen, what wants to unfold and unfurl within ourselves and our lives, because that's going to be the most sustainable choice. That's not how we're taught to navigate life, but that's actually how we align with life itself and the wisdom therein. So, you know, be patient. I know patience is a practice. Heard about it. And let that gunk move out of the water hose so that you don't have to take it into the next season, and things can be lighter, things can be easier. And again, I keep talking about it, open palm living. You still get to know what matters, the essence of what matters, but the how it shows up as we move more and more into this new paradigm way of living, the how is going to change. The approach is going to shift, and we're in it together. We're all just kind of figuring it out as we create this new approach, this new language around it, and this new sense of community around it. So that's what I got today. And it's spring. Look for the flowers. It's still cool, even if allergies are a thing. So anyway, spring, Aries season. I want to talk more about that, but I'm not going to today. But it's all this energy of movement. So go forth and be the magical unicorns that you are.